Welcome back to Kicking It in the Second Half, Kish YZ. I'm D, and I'm back again with Hugh.
Hey, how's everybody doing?
And tonight, we're giving y'all another PPF episode. We're doing Bam Adebayo. Shout out to the Miami Heat fans. Let's go. South Beach is where it's at. This is the big tuna here. Let's reel them here. Hugh, we usually just dive straight into it. Man, I got a nickname for Bam already, bro. I wanted to make sure I get this out there because I'm not sure if I heard it, but I was thinking about it the other day when I was writing down his name. It's Bam Bayo. His last
Bam,
name instead of
Bam
Bayo,
Bayo.
I'm calling it Bayo, like mayonnaise. Yeah, Bam
When I,
Bayo, it sounds like a good sandwich, man. Give me a Bam Bayo, man. I like to hear that be announced, like when he's dunking on people, like flushing it two hands, like Shaq style, hanging on the rim. That's Bam Bayo right there.
yeah, when I was doing research for this episode, I actually saw that when he was younger, his nickname was Bam Bam.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, yeah,
So
that's
yeah,
already a given. I'm giving him a second nickname, Bam Bayo. It
hey,
sounds good, man.
hit him in his DMs. See what he thinks about it.
Hey, you do that, man. You hit him up for me, please, please. But yeah, let's get into it to Bam real quick because this guy's got an interesting pathway to the NBA as far as his background. I mean, a lot of NBA players do, but he comes from a humble background, so humble beginnings. Shout out to Bam. Shout out to the Heat culture. Let's get into it. Hugh, give us the spill.
Well, you wanna get in on that because I just have when he went to college. I don't know nothing about his humble background.
Yeah, I mean, I could get into it. You could start or I could start. Why don't you go ahead and start it out and then I'll backfill a little bit.
All right, so Bam Adebayo. He's 23 years old. He went to the University of Kentucky. He only played one season there. I didn't know that until I was doing research on this, but yeah, it was just one and done. It looks like in college he played the 2016-17 season there. Um, in the 2017 NBA draft, he was taken 14th overall to the Miami Heat, the team he has spent his whole career with up to this point. Um,
So I'll go ahead and get up in there
yeah,
real
go ahead.
quick before you continue with the NBA career numbers. Yeah, so he came from Kentucky, like you said. He played 1 year with John Calipari, and it was interesting because if you look up his background about him playing in Kentucky, or even watched him. I remember watching some of the games there because I'm a Duke fan, and that battle there, they played the game against each other, and Bam, he was pretty much there for rebounding, setting screens, and rolling to the basket, like the traditional big man, and that dates back. As far as how they got him there or what his role was there at UK, it was basically his humble beginnings of him being, a really good student in high school or throughout school, but in particular, when he got older, his mom was a single mother. And, it says that he lived in a trailer. And if you watch any of the finals last year, if you caught some of the snippets of what the commentators were mentioning, that Bam had a photo of that single wide trailer that they lived in. And he uses that as motivation, even back when he was at UK, University of Kentucky, and even still today at playing for the Heat as a star of the league. And yeah, he was driven by that, by the fact that he saw his mother in the light of, this is a single mom. She works all day. She's tired. She used to call to make sure that the coaches got Bam to school. Like she needed help, but she by all means was humble enough to ask for it and did what she could to provide just for them to. I didn't look up to see if he had any siblings. I think it's just maybe them two. Sorry if I missed that information there, but yeah, he was definitely inspired by that and driven to do well in school, and and definitely be not a statistic and make it to college. And then, like I said, when he got to college, it's weird because they had him set in a particular role, but he actually knows how to kind of play like more of a point forward role, as we see, coming up. We'll talk about that a little bit. But yeah, just his role there at UK, just so he can get drafted, basically, as far as the scouting reports. Like he would look like, okay, that's that big guy that you need to have, because he's great at rebounding, he's great at defending, and he's great at pick and rolls. Like they were on a mission to make sure Bam would only have to play 1 year of college, and he went to the University of Kentucky, a high-profile school where John Calipari had already made a lot of prospects into NBA players because of it being a high-profile school. Over the course of those years, you're talking like a Karl Anthony Towns and Anthony Davis, John Wall, DeMarcus Cousins, just to name a few, up into that point that were one and dones. So yeah, I just wanted to backfill that a little bit. And yeah, while he was at Kentucky, he also played with De'Aaron Fox. So they were all in that draft class. 2017 was a good draft class.
Yeah, yeah, for real. That's a powerful story. I didn't know that, but
Yeah, that's just a
yeah.
snippet, just the backfill. But yeah, now that he's in the NBA, yeah, go ahead and tell us about how his career has turned out so far. Like you said, he's been with the Heat for his whole entire career so far.
Yeah, yeah. So I think the 2017 and 18 seasons were pretty basic for him from when I was reading over. I think in 2017 he might have appeared, and I think it said like half the games, 40 some games, I think, something like that. But I saw that in you know 18 is really when he started the uptick. I think it said he played all 82 games that season, if I remember reading that correctly. But 2019-2020 season, that's really when he popped off. When things started clicking for him really well. Basically all the accolades that he has, all the awards were from that season specifically. So yeah, so that season he was named to his first NBA All-Star game. And actually All-Star weekend he won the NBA Skills Challenge competition. He was runner-up for most improved player that season. He was named to the NBA All Defensive second team, and he was 5th in Defensive Player of the Year voting. So I mean, he really popped off that year, and obviously they made the NBA Finals of that season. But yeah, and then in November 28th, 2020, he signed a 5-year extension. I didn't get the amount that was worth, but he signed a 5-year extension to be locked up with the Heat for at least 5 more years. And then yeah, just this season, I just got a stat line. He's averaging 19.2 points a game, 9.6 rebounds, 5.4 assists, 0 3-pointers made, almost a steal a game, and 1.2 blocks a game.
I want to touch on the point where you said that he won that skills challenge. A lot of that information stood out to me, but don't take that for granted that he actually won that skills challenge, because I actually had in my notes that I forgot to mention that during his I guess not really his draft, but during what they call like that play-in session, where the NBA team that's potentially going to draft you, they scout you, they have you come in. I guess it's like a workout session is what they call it. They had him do a bunch of drills, a bunch of normal drills, kind of wearing and tearing them out. And I guess when they had scouted him, because like I said, John Calipari had him just doing like your basic big man roles of, screening, rolling to the basket, getting rebounds. He would work on point guard material as far as like ball handling and passing, not during the games, obviously, but during practice. And when it came time for him to be drafted, and he was at that Heat workout session, they turned it up a notch. They had him towards the end of the practice, guarding the perimeter. And he was hollering back, supposedly from what I read, at Coach Pat Riley, or not coach then, but GM Pat Riley. He was like, "Oh man, y'all effed up now. Y'all got me all effed up. Got me confused." Like, he was saying in a way like, "Oh yeah, you don't want to see this now, because once I start doing this, I'm getting in my bag, so to speak." So, he started getting in there, and they were just impressed by the way his demeanor had changed, and he was, an undrafted player at that point, ready to be drafted. And he's saying those words to the legendary Pat Riley and the staff, including Juwan Howard, because he was still there with the Miami Heat. They were looking at each other like, okay, this is that dude. This is the Heat culture right here. This is what we need. And like you said, he won that skills challenge, and that's just the tip of the iceberg as far as his overall skills. But yeah, I look at this guy, he's already, in my opinion, known as a great defender. Yeah, his numbers could probably get a little bit better over time, but he's already there with his defensive numbers. If you play fantasy and you've had him on one of your teams over the last couple of seasons, like I said, he's related to before in some of these players. Bubble fatigue might have all said, how he was performing at the beginning of this season. So the averages might not truly reflect, how great his game has come along. But yeah, in a regular offseason, going into the regular season, this guy is going to continue to grow in his skill set. And like you mentioned, he's already a one-time All-Star. Didn't make it this year. Like I said, I want to kind of blame that on bubble fatigue, just not being able to get out there and showcase your skills, at the level that you normally do. So I think he would have definitely been a second-time All-Star if it wasn't for that shortened offseason, because they did went to go to the finals. But I do want to ask you, because now we're in the future segment of this PPF. What is your take on Bam, and what do you see him producing in the future here?
Yeah. So, well, one thing, I didn't know he was that young. I'm actually, I think a month and like a half older than Bam. I think it said his birthday was July 18th, 97 or something like that. So yeah,
Yeah, he's
extremely
nowhere
young.
near his prime. Nowhere
Yeah.
near.
And for
He's
him to
got
be
4
putting
or
up
5 more seasons.
and for him to be, putting up these numbers and, make his first All-Star game at 22 years old, I think the future is bright. Bright, bright, bright. I think Miami needs to hang on to him as long as they can. Just looking at his numbers, maybe you agree with this, maybe you don't. We just did a PPF, I think last week, on Rudy Gobert, and it kind of gives me those same vibes. But I mean, he's a better scorer and a better passer from his stats. It looks like Gobert averages more rebounds a game, so I think Gobert kind of crashes the boards more. But like neither of them stretch the floor a lot. Both of them had 0 3-pointers made a game average, and they're both incredible on defense. Gobert probably has that nod, but I mean they're both great defenders. I just think Bam is a better scorer and passer, while Gobert is a better rebounder. But I mean,
This is
I get
how I
kind of a
see it. I
comparison
see
for
it
them.
as he's going to grow into like that Rudy Gobert type of defense. So he's got that Rudy Gobert aspect there, but he's just, a level or two shy of being like on that Jokic level as far as offensive production, as far as passing. And like you say, he doesn't shoot the three that much. So he's got time to grow. He's got 2 modeled players that he can potentially mold those 2 pieces of game into his game. Right now, I currently see him as like an elevated version of Domantas Sabonis.
Yeah,
Because
I
he's
like
got
I
so
like that.
much potential.
Yeah, man. I think Bam. I mean, in the next for the next 10 years, at least we could be talking about top 5 easy big man in the
Easy,
league. And
yes.
he can, I mean, top 3. I mean, if these numbers just keep improving, yeah, he gets his scoring up a little more. Maybe an assist or 2 more a game closer to Jokic. Man, I could say top 3. Easy. So I mean, his potential's through the roof, and I don't see him, getting any worse for the foreseeable future. And I mean, yeah, Miami needs to lock him up like it looks like they already did with that 5-year extension. Probably need to give him another one when that one runs out. And yeah, man. I mean, that dude, he's going to be an elite player for a long time.
Yeah, I definitely had in my notes that I see him as a future cornerstone for the Miami Heat. Definitely the face of the Miami Heat. Yeah, definitely somebody they should hold on to. And I see him getting a championship, at least one in his career, and as a Miami Heat player. And I see him as a combination. Like if I had to put a ceiling on his game, I would say I wrote down that he is Shaq with the boards and Alonzo Mourning for the Heat fans out there with his defense, and D Wade with his hunger. Because like I said, this guy has some internal motivation. He doesn't need external motivation. He's still motivated by the fact of where he's come from, and he hasn't forgotten about that. And he does not want to see his mom work again, which at this point she doesn't have to. But he is very passionate guy, and he's self-driven, and he is just everything that the Heat culture is wanting in a player. So you talk about this guy came to the league getting drafted by the Miami Heat, and he was able to play with the legendary Dwayne Wade himself. And then after Dwayne Wade retired, Jimmy Butler comes in, another legendary player with a hard work ethic. So you put those 2 factors in there as far as variables of teammates that he's had to kind of make sure he stays hungry and stays driven, on top of his self-motivation. The sky's the limit for this guy. He can very well be easily the face of at least the Eastern Conference, in the future. If the Miami Heat keep making these deep playoff runs or win a championship, we might be talking about, man, Bam is the guy you have to go through to get out of the East.
Yeah, I can see that easily being the case. I mean, he's just You know, like I already touched on, I think he's just going to continue to improve every year, just get better scoring, and you know, maybe crash the boards a little more, and you know, maybe average an assist or two more, and just get better defensively. So I mean, yeah, the sky's the limit for Bam.
If y'all like the video, give us a thumbs up. If you want to see more videos and check out our other ones, please send us a sub as well. Hugh, you want to give any last words on this topic?
I just want to give a shout out to Bam, man. You know, I didn't know that story, that his backstory with his mom and all that. And you know, I know you know, I watch a lot of interviews of you know, rappers and athletes and stuff like that, and they all get asked all the time, you know, when they knew they made it and stuff like that. And I see most of their answers are like when they could buy their mom a house or when they could buy their mom a car. And so you know, I know when you get big and when you grew up, you know, your family and you know, your single mom or whatever struggled like that, but you know, got you where you needed to be. So I know that must feel incredible to be able to kind of pay him back in some way. So yeah, I mean, just shout out Bam, and you know, shout out his mom doing whatever she could for him when he was younger. I mean, that's a real touching story. So yeah, just shout out Bam, keep doing you.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, it might sound cliche, but these are real people and they have real motivations. You know, sometimes it's do this or you know, something completely opposite as far as your lifestyle, because they're not coming out of a lifestyle where, you know, if it doesn't matter if you don't succeed in this, it's like they only have one goal, one option to succeed, to make it to this point. And yeah, when they do that, of course, they want to look back and take care of most definitely usually their mother or both of their parents, whatever the situation might be, because of the humble beginnings. You know, like you said, you see this a lot, but it's a true story. You know, everybody has a story, and you know, whatever motivates you, you know, that's your motivation, that's what's driving you, you know. And then they also have a passion for the game. So then, you know, players like Bam, he also has a passion to want to get better, to be one of the best players mentioned in the league. So all of that is just a good mix for him, and I think he's definitely in the right place on the right team. Sometimes you see guys get drafted to a team that just it doesn't fit. You know, going back to his draft class, we talked about before, Lonzo Ball. It just wasn't a great fit there for the Lakers. You know, the headlines kind of matched up, but you know, going to the Pelicans, we both talked about like it seems like a better situation for him there. But Bam, he landed in a great spot. You know, great product coming out of Kentucky. I feel like the Heat actually got a steal there. Where did you say he was drafted? What number again?
14th.
14. So, you know, if people weren't paying attention back then and obviously just watching film or watching his college games, like I said, that guy was working on point guard skills outside of the games. So if somebody didn't do their scouting homework and, you know, they pass up on him because it's like, oh, well, we don't need that traditional big man. Sorry, bro, you slipped. You slipped. Also, shout out, not to ruin any of the Heat fans, but shout out to the Heat Nation. But Donovan Mitchell was also in that draft. And I can't remember what we said he was drafted. I think he was drafted a little bit lower than Bam. So, you know, sometimes you got to do your homework and think about, you know, not only what you need as far as in your team setting, but what this guy's ceiling is. And like we said, he hasn't peaked yet at all. And I don't think health is going to be a big factor as of right now for this guy. So we got at least 4 more years of consistent growth. And we could look at Vucevic with his numbers, and Bam can easily top that. This guy can easily average 28 to 30 points in his prime. You talk about 13 to 15 boards if he wants to, and blocks and steals. Like, this is a guy, if you play fantasy basketball, you need to start looking at him now. This year was a fluke with the bubble fatigue starting out with the season, but you need to look at him now.
Yeah, and something else I want to touch on, man. If you know, if I was a college player and I was getting drafted, my number one spot, no, honestly, regardless of fit, would be Miami. I mean, where else would you want to live, man? South Beach, warm all year round, man. He must have been hyped to go there, and you know, like you touched on, it's a great fit. But yeah, man, just shout out Miami, shout out the city. Never been there, but I'm going there. You know, I'm actually got a flight to Miami next month, so I'm actually hype about going. I've never been there, but yeah, it should be lit. But yeah, you know, shout out Miami.
Hey, if you see Bam down there, you know, tell him we got a video about him. We're paying our respects, bro. All
Yeah, I'll
day,
have to
every
holler
day.
at him. I'll send him. I'll show him the link.
Yeah, definitely show them the link. You know, like I said, we don't try to discredit any players. We do criticize players on here, but I don't have anything bad to say about Bam. I really don't. I like the guy's demeanor. I like his personality. I don't mind watching him when he's on the court. Like there's times when if he's not having a good game, I kind of feel bad for him because I know he can do better. Like I don't look at him as a player that's like, oh man, this guy's not producing right, or this guy's not what we thought he was going to be. Like I actually enjoy watching him.
Yeah.
Yeah, shout out to everybody that's watching the video. Thank you again for tuning in. This has been Kicking It in the Second Half. Kish YZ. Stay tuned because we're going to shoot y'all another PPF. And who knows, we might keep it down in South Beach for all the Miami Heat fans there. Say bye to the people, Hugh.
See y'all.
All right, everybody. Peace and love.